This is Azerbaijani Ordular Yurt Radio 102.7 FM CFRO Vancouver Co-op radio station.
Dear listeners, welcome to 102.7 FM Azerbaijani radio program at Co-op radio station from Vancouver. My name is Eyüp Hacıyev and I'll be your host today. As well, as usual, we have Adam Balmoral in the studio who is going to be helping us with running today's show. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most devastating and the bloodiest conflicts of the former Soviet Union. When the Soviets collapsed, an ethnic conflict between Azerbaijani and Armenian people living in the region over Azerbaijani territory of Nagorno-Karabakh started. The conflict turned into a real war in 1991. And the ceasefire was signed between the Armenia and Azerbaijan in 1994. However, the problem yet to be solved, and no settlement agreement have been signed between the two countries. The impact of the war has been critical to both countries. Azerbaijan lost around 20% of its territories, including Nagorno-Karabakh and 7 surrounding regions. And Armenia and more than 1 million Azerbaijanis became refugees and internally displaced people from those lands. Armenia did not win either. As a response to occupation, Turkey closed its borders with Armenia, which became an economic blockade. The Armenian economy is considered one of the worst in the world, and millions of Armenians are immigrating abroad for a better life. Last night, I phoned to Azerbaijan to speak to Vafa Guluzade, one of the one of the Azerbaijani diplomats involved in peace negotiations. And he's currently a political analyst. He recognized an expert in the issues of former Soviet Union, Russia, and Caucasus. He published numerous books, articles analyzing the policy of Russia in Caucasus and the problem here. He's been known as an advocate of the pro-Western orientation of Azerbaijan and characterized by the U.S. Department as an architect of the pro-Western orientation of the Azerbaijan. In 1999, he was the first to declare the idea of placing NATO military bases in Caucasus. He also been promoting Azerbaijani towards a Western orientation. In October 1999, due to disagreements on the key foreign policy issues, he resigned from his position, and currently he is the political analyst. Due to time difference between Azerbaijan and Vancouver, which is 12 hours, right now it's 4 a.m. in the morning, we didn't invite him on air because it will be 4 a.m. in the morning. So I pre-recorded the interview. Nevertheless, if you have a question and if you want to contribute to our conversation at the end of the interview, please give us a call. I will announce the number. So if you have a time, would like to listen to your opinion. Our number here is 604-684-7561. Again, 604-684. First of all, I just want to thank you for agreeing to for the interview. We're really delighted and grateful because I know your background, Vafa Malim. You are one of the person who were involved in peace negotiation process over the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, and I know you are very knowledgeable and one of the persons that I have a lot of respect. So. First of all, could you tell me about the peace negotiation process that's going on right now between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict?
I want to say sincerely that there is no any peace process and there is no any peace negotiation. It is full imitation. What is the reason why it is so? Because Azerbaijani territories occupied by Russia, not by Armenia.
By Russia.
And Russia wants to keep the situation no peace, no war as long as possible. Soviet Union collapsed, and Russia knows that Azerbaijan oil-rich country will go to integrate to Europe, has good relations with Israel and with the United States.
Mm-hmm.
In the same time, Azerbaijan will be member of NATO. Azerbaijan first declared that Azerbaijan wants to be member of NATO. Armenia, of course, too, because Armenia, a small republic of our region, it is three republics of Southern Caucasus, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia. And all three republics could live in peace and could be members of all European structures. But Russia is an empire. Russia collapsed as Soviet empire, but now it is the former Russian empire. And it is an existent Russian empire. Their mentality, imperialistic mentality. Every day Russian newspapers writing that we restore Soviet Union, that we get back all territories that we lost. It means Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and others. They are dreaming about restoration of empire. And in this situation, Russia is the biggest, large country of our region. And of course the strongest, because Russia was a superpower. Now it is for our region, it is a nuclear superpower. That's why in the world, all diplomatic and political sources, they know that it is Russian occupation. And they know that Russia don't allow to Armenia to sign the peace or to make a step towards peace. Armenia twice did it. One, it was Levon Ter-Petrosyan in 1998.
Okay.
He made sensational declaration that without peace with Azerbaijan and Turkey, Armenia not able normally exist. After that, he was ousted from his post. Russia, of course, Russia is the master in Armenia. Russia appoints presidents, ministers, power structures, and everything. That's why Levon Ter-Petrosyan was ousted.
But Vafa Malim, Russian President Medvedev right now, he's having he's leading the peace negotiation process. How many meetings did they have? They were just they met in Kazan, they met in Sochi. They were media was telling that they were about to sign some kind of agreement. Isn't the Russia sincere?
Previously, I was the negotiator from Azerbaijanian side.
Yes, I know.
I took part in all negotiations with Levon Petrosyan, with Boris Yeltsin, with others. But I saw that all is imitation. Armenia is demanding independence for Mountainous Karabakh, Nagorno-Karabakh.
Okay.
Mountainous Karabakh, it is our territory. It even hadn't any borders with Armenia, but they occupying Kalbajar and Lachin region, they arranged artificial road from Mountainous Karabakh to Armenia, and now they are saying that Mountainous Karabakh is not an enclave. It is Azerbaijani enclave. It is Azerbaijani territory. Armenians lived there in minority. Armenians lived there, just came to that place 150 years ago, just. But historically, it is Azerbaijani territory, and it is accepted by the United States, United Nations as Azerbaijani territory by all countries. America, Canada accepted Nagorno-Karabakh as Azerbaijani territory. They are respecting territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. But Russia is not respecting.
Okay, Vafa Malim, since we are talking about it, can you please give us background? Because I believe many of our listeners here in Vancouver don't have a good idea when did it happen, what happened. I know the conflict started when the...
I'll tell you about it. Tell you about it. It was first a dream of Russian Tsar Piotr first.
Yeah.
And he gave instructions to his elite, invite Armenians from all around and arranged a stronghold in Caucasus. He was a conqueror. And they tried to bring Armenians from Iran, from Syria, from Lebanon, from many parts of the world to Russian Empire. Azerbaijan was in Russian Empire after the war with Iran. The northern Azerbaijan stayed in Iran, southern Azerbaijan became Russian territory. Iran lost southern Azerbaijan. And from that period, Tsars began to arrange here a stronghold from Christian Armenians. They brought it from Iran, and it was a big scandal, and even they were on the edge of the war when very famous Russian ambassador Griboyedov, and he was Russian writer, and he was stopped when he took wives of Iranian Shah to Russia.
Okay.
And then Iranians attacked Russian embassy and destroyed it. Yes. Within long period, they brought Armenians to Azerbaijani territory. Armenia itself, it is Azerbaijani territory. Armenians were in minority in Azerbaijani territory.
But it's kind of it's before what happened before, yeah, historically. But at this point, like I'm talking about for the last 20-25 years, whatever happened before, historically it happened. I'm sure many Armenians will argue against, but as long as when the Soviet Union collapsed, both Armenians lived in Azerbaijan, Azerbaijanis live in Armenia, and they were quite peacefully. So I'm talking about 1988 when the conflict started emerging.
Let me explain the core of the issue.
Yes.
Without having short imagination about the history,
okay,
you will not understand anything. Russia, and after that Soviet Union, they created Armenia on Azerbaijani land. It was Azerbaijani land. Within period of Soviet Union, after collapse of Tsarist regime, Soviets arranged two deportations. One deportation, it was deportation of Stalin in 1956. He expelled for about 500,000 of Azerbaijanians from Armenia. They were living in their homeland, on their land, in their houses. It stayed in Armenia. Second deportation was Gorbachev's deportation. It was 1989. But we are saying Gorbachev, we are saying Yeltsin, we are saying Stalin, but it is policy of Russian military-industrial complex that is power. They are just bringing presidents, they are supporting presidents, and they are ordering presidents. That's why 300,000 Azerbaijanians in 1989 was expelled from Armenia. Happened full ethnic cleansing. After that, Armenian, when Soviet Union collapsed, with help of Russians, began to expel Azerbaijanians from mountainous Karabakh and from 7 regions around mountainous Karabakh with help of Soviet army, and at that period, new period, it was Russian army. They occupied mountainous Karabakh and 7 regions around mountainous Karabakh.
Okay.
Talking about peaceful life of Azerbaijanians and Armenians. Now it is possible too. If Russia will occupy Azerbaijan and will establish what it wants on their own territory, we will live in peace. Soviet Union occupied Armenia when Soviet Union began, occupied Azerbaijan, then cut big part of Azerbaijan, it is Zangezur, gave it to Armenia, making gap between mainland of Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan, and in the same time they gave a territory, mountainous Karabakh, autonomy. Why they gave to minority in Azerbaijan autonomy? It was completely illegal. Why they not gave autonomy for Azerbaijanians living that period in Armenia? We are victims, we and Armenians, victims of global Russian geostrategy and geopolicy. We have Caucasus. Now Russia, before a threat to lose Caucasus, Southern Caucasus is waging a guerrilla war against Russia. In Northern Caucasus, Russia failed to take control on Georgia. Russia just occupied Abkhazia and Ossetia, but couldn't to expel Gamsakhurdia. Now Georgia, in good relations with the West, with the United States. United States is helping Georgia to stay independent. Russia is furious. Russia is saying that Saakashvili is, excuse me, Gamsakhurdia, I said, Saakashvili is aggressor, but it is a lie. Saakashvili living in his country. Russia occupied two big parts of his country. But Russia failed to expel himself, to bring a puppet as Armenians to Georgia, and then to close the exit from the Caspian region. And in the same time they are occupying our territories, they want to close the exit from Caspian region. Azerbaijan is very important country. Azerbaijan has geostrategic situation, is very advantageous. That's why Russia is furious. They are losing not only Caspian Basin countries, they lost it.
Okay.
Not only Southern Caucasus, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and even Armenia. Nevertheless, till now, Armenia is a colony. It is just named independent state. Armenia is a governorship of Russia, part of Russia, and Armenia is fulfilling everything what Russia is dictating.
Okay, now, Vafa, let's go back to 1988. You mentioned that 300,000 Azerbaijanis were expelled from Armenia in 88, and before that it was 38, 37. My family was one of them. I know how it did happen because personally my grandfather's family was moved from Armenia to Kazakhstan in 1937, I believe, as part of the Stalin repression.
Then you know personally how it happened.
I do.
Your grandfather hadn't any sin to be expelled from his own house.
Exactly.
But he was expelled because he was Azerbaijani, because he lived in Armenia.
But let's be fair. There were many Armenians also living in Azerbaijan. I'm talking about Baku, Ganja, different parts, and they were also expelled. They were also sent. They became at the end of the day. They also became refugees. So which one?
I'll tell you the short story then.
Okay.
The last part of the drama or tragedy of scenario.
Okay.
When Russians and Armenians expelled Azerbaijanians from mountainous Karabakh, the refugees, beaten, came to Sumgait and came to Baku part. And in Sumgait began pogrom against Armenians. Pogroms arranged and organized by Moscow KGB. Moscow KGB wanted to create a conflict and to accuse Azerbaijani Turks, Muslims. That's why they arranged pogrom in Sumgait. It is very well known that head of the pogrom in Sumgait was Armenians themselves. It is Grigorian criminals. The same happened in Baku. The same happened in Baku when Azerbaijanians were killed and beaten in their own territory. For example, in Agdam. You know, Agdam is in 300 kilometers from Baku. Now, Russian Armenian tanks is standing in distance for 300 kilometers from Baku. That's why when Azerbaijanians saw that Azerbaijanians were beaten and pogromed in their own territories, Azerbaijanians began to pogrom Armenians in Baku. It happened.
Okay.
It happened. But who shot first? They shot. Russians shot.
Okay.
And victims, it is Armenians and Azerbaijanians and this bloody conflict. Armenians want to get out from this bloody conflict. Kocharyan accepted a very luxury peace with Heydar Aliyev in 1999, but Armenian parliament was shut down in live TV.
Yeah, I saw that.
Armenian parliament was, yes, it was shown all over the world. Who was that killers in masks? Nobody knows till now. Nobody knows. It is Russians arranged this shooting in Armenian parliament. Is it possible to say that Armenia is an independent state when somebody is entering the parliament and in session of parliament is killing prime minister, speaker, 10 ministers and deputies of parliament?
Okay.
Russia is ruling as Russia wants here. And Russia is not destroying Azerbaijan because of oil contracts.
Okay.
After signing oil contracts, Azerbaijan became sphere of interest of the United States. And Russia is afraid from the United States because Russia knows that Russia 1,000 times weaker than United States. Russia just is keeping old nuclear warheads. Yes, Russia has thousands of old nuclear warheads. And one day one of that nuclear bombs will explode close to Moscow or St. Petersburg in any other place. Because Russia of today is collapsing country. Discipline is out. It is a criminal state. And very
okay.
Everybody is stealing and sending money to the West, to your banks.
Mr. Guluzade, thanks for that. I just want to go back to the conflict over the Nagorno-Karabakh. I know the...
My friend, please don't say conflict. It is aggression.
Okay.
Conflict, it is not conflict. We were sitting peacefully in our houses when Russia with Armenia stormed and occupied 20% of our territories. It is not a conflict. We are not occupying 1 centimeter of Russian or Armenian territory.
Okay.
They are not saying about mountainous Karabakh, but occupying 7 huge regions around it. They are saying it is belt of security. How it's possible? United Nations has 4 resolutions about withdrawing all Armenians occupying troops from all Azerbaijani territories. But everybody knows that it is Russia behind it. Afraid of nuclear Russia, nobody is saying it publicly that Armenia is aggressor. Behind this aggression is organizer. It is Russia. Russia, stop aggression. When Russia will stop aggression, Armenians will be very peaceful and will live in peace with Armenians. So, Armenians want to live in peace.
So the war started in, the first clashes started in 1989 and 1990, and the war ended in 1994. I think it's like, there was like total 3-4 years of war. What was the casualties and consequences, economic damage to both sides?
I told you for about 300,000 Azerbaijanians within 2-3 years pogromed in Armenia with help of Armenian Soviet militia in Gorbachev times, and then they sent by trains to Baku, to Azerbaijan. And Azerbaijani first secretary of the communist country, of the communist party, he was Abdurrahman Bezirov. He ordered, don't say about it to anybody. People knew that trains with pogromed people is coming to Azerbaijan, but no newspapers, nobody. Only one source. It was Radio Liberty. It was Mirza Khazar who talked about it that period. What's interesting, other sources of Radio Liberty was silent. World Service, American Service, Georgian, Armenian, everybody was silent. Only Azerbaijani redaction was talking about it. Only Azerbaijani service. Why other services was not talking about it? Because the West was not going to spoil relations with Gorbachev. They loved Gorbachev. They loved Gorbachev because Gorbachev was destroying Soviet Union. Me too, I am uploading to Gorbachev because he was destroying Soviet Union, because I am hating Soviet Union. It is a totalitarian state. It is fascist state. But these actions, it is two fascist actions. To expel from Armenia peaceful Azerbaijanians and from their houses, it is a fascist action. Even fascists not did it. I remember fascists lived with Russian population when they occupied cities and villages. And I have information from that people. They said that fascists were very polite. They were never stealing. They were paying for everything. But Russians stolen all houses of 500,000 of Azerbaijanis living in Armenia. Where is their houses? Where's their lands?
Yes.
Where's their property? They came nude, without anything.
Yes, I know that. You just mentioned that world did not know about it because they didn't want to spoil their relationship with Russia. But there, I think another major role that Armenian lobby in the West played, because Azerbaijan was completely cut out from the outside world. I was in Azerbaijan. I was a child, and we used to call it information blockade because
Azerbaijan was part of the Soviet Union from one side, and from another side, the West was silent to many deeds of Gorbachev because they were anticipating collapse of the Soviet Union, and it happened. It happened.
But didn't the
Armenian
lobby play a role in it?
What?
Armenian lobby, Armenian organizations in the West.
I don't think Armenian lobby. It was Russian Empire. What Armenian lobby could do in, I don't know, America, in California, maybe they made some statements, maybe 1-2 Armenian extremists came to fight to mountainous Karabakh, but there was no real war. It was imitation of war. Russian army arranged an imitation of war. So, first, they supported completely armless Azerbaijanians. They armed them a little bit and arranged a struggle between Armenians and Azerbaijanians to say to the world that there is war, it is conflict, they are fighting. Before it, Abdurrahman Vezirov disarmed all regions of Azerbaijan bordering Armenia, even hunting guns, even big knives, even they did everything to make Azerbaijanians helpless and armless. It is a huge tragedy. But unfortunately, when time passes, the tragedies are forgotten. Nobody they are remembering it. But I am saying that we are main victim of Russian geopolicy, Armenians too. Because Armenia now not improving.
Okay.
Azerbaijan is improving. Azerbaijan has oil. Azerbaijan has gas. Azerbaijan in communication with Europe, in economic communication. Azerbaijan is communicating with Georgia and Turkey. Through Georgia and Turkey, they are our allies. We are sending oil and gas to Europe, to European markets. But what Armenia is doing? Armenia is living a misery life. Armenia is not able to take part in any of these Azerbaijani Western projects. Armenian wants, but they are not able to say it to Russia. When they are saying it, they are killing, they are expelling from their posts.
But what was the
tragedy of Armenia?
What's the economic damage to both countries? Talking about the economy. So was there I know that it was a devastating war. Was there a big economic damage for both countries?
It is 20% of Azerbaijani territory under occupation. If somebody will calculate how many the agricultural products we have from the territories, or we just calculated for some $3-4 billion, they destroyed schools, they destroyed hospitals, they destroyed the culture house, many things, and houses of ordinary people. Now these 7 regions completely destroyed. You will not able to find one safe house. But Adolf Hitler never did it. Adolf Hitler, in comparison with Russians, it is an innocent guy. German troops entering the regions never destroyed houses. They just was fighting guerrillas if guerrillas were shooting them. But they had good relations with population. I am saying it because I know it from citizens of the Soviet Union who lived with German army on occupied territories. Everybody is saying that Germans were very good, very polite. Germans did nothing to us. What is this? When occupation finished, Germans get out from there. And after that, in Kislovodsk, in Yessentuki, we were, living in the same houses that was occupied by Germans. Because their owners were alive, and they were saying to us that stories. We were hiring for 2 months a house and living there.
I know.
Nazis. But here, you don't have one place to live. And Russians especially are destroying. They are afraid. If Armenians lived with Azerbaijanians together in occupied territories, they couldn't arrange enmity between Azerbaijanians and Armenians. Because 70 years in Soviet period, when Soviet Union occupied Armenia and Azerbaijan, included it to Soviet Union, we lived in peace. Azerbaijanians and Armenians have marrying, have arranging common families. A lot of common families had a big tragedies. Because what to do? The wife is Armenian, the husband is Azerbaijanian, the children is common. What to do with them? They destroyed many destinies, many lives. It is a huge Russian crime in the history. One of the huge crimes. Because Russia always was a criminal state. From Tsars to Bolsheviks. And now too. Now it's the most criminal country in the world, or empire. We are not able to say about Russia country. It is empire. They are occupying Bashkortostan, they are occupying Tatarstan, they are occupying Udmurtia, they are occupying all people living in Russian Federation. It is not federation. It is empire. Mm-hmm. Russians themselves, they don't have their own borders. Where is Russia? Who is able to say where is Russia? For example, after collapse of British Empire, we know there is England. After collapse of Roman Empire, there is Italy. After collapse of Ottoman Empire, there is Turkey. Where is Russia? Russia is everywhere. Russia don't think to bring for themselves a country and to live there. Because they are thinking that they will, until the end, they will be imperialist. And it is true. They will until their end imperialist, and their end is coming. Because okay. Russia now is collapsing.
I hope it's going to be not a too bad end. I mean, it's going to be imperialistic end, but the people won't suffer because ordinary people.
Guy from Czechia, my friend, are you able to imagine that a Gauleiter, a Gruppenführer, could be head of state in Germany? It's impossible, because fascism was sentenced in Germany, but communism was not sentenced here. Czechia, KGB was not sentenced in the Soviet Union. That's why KGB men are heads of states in the territory of former Soviet Union. Are you able it in Germany? All of us, we are saying fascism and communism, it is the same. But how the KGB man is head of state? Vladimir Putin, he was head of state, now he is prime minister. After a while, once again, he will be head of state.
Okay.
Understand that we are living in abnormal world. Your world, it is beautiful world, especially Canada. I have relatives, friends living in Canada. Everybody wondering how beautiful country, how beautiful people, how good law everywhere. We want to be the same, but we are living in criminal world.
Okay. Now, I've been following international media, both Azerbaijani, Russian, also Armenian media. Unfortunately, there are lots of talk about the new war, second war. They're talking less about the settlement of the conflict, but more talking about the second world. What are the chances that there's going to be another war?
They are lying everything about Second World War. In Second World War...
No, not the world. I'm talking about another war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. What are the chances?
I think that it is slogans, first of all. If Russia will not push war, there will be no war. Armenians don't want to fight, we don't want to fight. We want only our territories back. And sometimes we know that Russia behind Armenia. That's why we are not going to fight Armenia, because Russia is hoping if Azerbaijan will strike Armenia, Russia will come and destroy Azerbaijan. Russia wants this situation, but Russia is not able to do it.
Just like they invaded to Georgia.
All this talking, it is just talking about war. In this region, there will be no war. This region will be free and independent after 5-6 years, when Russia collapses. I am giving 5-6 years to Russia. This second wave of crisis in the world crisis, will finish Russia. Because Russia is too very abnormal country. All resources of Russia stolen and sent to the Western banks. What is the country? Nobody trusts that Russia is a stable state. Even big authorities of Russia, their children are studying in London, in the United States, in France, their families there, because Russia, it is a country of banditism. New York of sorts, it is nothing in comparison with Russia. People are killed in the street. Russia is a drunkard country. Alcoholism, I don't know, narcotics, widely spread in Russia. What will be the result? They are helpless to do with it anything. Because the state is not thinking about citizens. The state is thinking how to steal huge resources of Russia. Oil, gas, woods, etc., etc., etc. It is reality of Russia. That's why I am confident, I am optimistic, and I am hoping that very soon Azerbaijani territories will be liberated. After collapse of Russia, Armenians will apologize for occupying territories of an independent state. Many times Armenian negotiators said to me, we have good relations with them. And when I was negotiating, they were saying to me, Vafa, why you are speaking with us? Go and speak with Russians. You know that it's Russians. You know everything.
Mm-hmm. So what about the U.S. role? What about U.S.? Does United States or NATO or European countries play a big role?
I think that United States and NATO is doing good job, but they are not able within 5 minutes to settle the historic problem. They will settle it on the basis of international law, because United States is supporting territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. United States is proposing to Azerbaijan and Armenia peaceful settlement, but Russia is the main negotiator. Russia is not allowing to do it. That's all.
What about Canada? Does Canada have any interest in the region?
Canada is interested in peace all over the world.
Okay.
Canada is very improved economic country, and Canada ready to cooperate with any normal, non-aggressive country.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have very good feelings towards Canada.
Many people say that democracy is the solution to the conflict. Democracy both in Azerbaijan and Armenia. What do you think about that?
How do you think? Is it possible 20 years ago to be part of totalitarian Soviet Bolshevik state and within short periods to become a democratic state? Of course, democracy is a big problem. After collapse of the Soviet Union, in the territory of Soviet Union, all countries became authoritarian, because after totalitarian regime is coming authoritarian regime. And of course, role of the United States, role of Europe, they are demanding from us, very rightly, demanding to go to democracy. And by small steps, we are going towards democracy. Of course, a lot of hurdles, because, you know, in authoritarian states, nobody in power wants a democracy, because democracy will deprive them from their profits, from their positions. Democracy will demand to stay in power only twice, 2 tenures, not forever, for life. That's why there is difficulties. Big difficulties.
I'm not sure.
But it is difficulties. In Russia, the same. In Kazakhstan, the same. In all these countries, it is the same.
I'm not sure if I agree with the steps we are taking towards the democracy, because I think it's too slow. Anyway, but what about Armenia? Are they going towards the democracy, you think?
You see, nobody is asking opinion of Armenian people. Armenia is a puppet of Russia. I said it.
Okay.
All Armenian presidents, prime ministers, army commanders, then, they have other structures. For example, they created Army of Mountainous Karabakh. And if Armenia will try to have good relations with NATO, that army will punish Armenia. They created a system. They created a system not to allow to Armenia to go towards democracy. Yes, Levante Petrosyan now is arranging rallies, etc., but Russia never will allow, until Russia is breathing. But the time is coming when Russia will be not interested in this frozen by itself conflicts. It is Mountainous Karabakh, it is Georgia, it is Prидnestrovye, Moldova, and other places. We just need when Russia lose interest to these issues. And when Russia will collapse, I am saying openly, I am anticipating collapse of Russia.
Okay.
Because it is not a country. It is so-called federation, and in that federation, all people occupied. You see how long is going war of Chechens with Russians? 450 years. Now Dagestanians, all Dagestanis fighting against Russia. Remember destiny of Cherkess. Russian Empire, not Soviet, Russian Empire, they eliminated in war 4 million of Cherkess, and 4 million was deported to Turkey. And now 300,000 living in California, a lot of them living in the Middle East. I saw representatives of them in a huge conference arranged in Georgia a year ago. Yes, Russia is a killer of peoples, because Russian Empire occupied lands of hundreds and hundreds people. That's why until Russia is existing like this, nothing will happen. If Russia will be stronger, will restore its strength period of Soviet Union, of course Russia will be more dangerous.
Maybe democracy is the solution to Russia as well.
Russia is anti-democracy, completely anti-democracy. For democracy, Soviets were killing, shooting, sending to Gulag. Solzhenitsyn was a very democratic person. All life he was in jail. And many, many people lived in jail. Half of Russia was in jail, and another half was in freedom.
I know, because my family also suffered.
My family too was in Siberia and in Kazakhstan. They were expelled to Kazakhstan.
Yeah. My dad was born in Kazakhstan, so I know the suffering. I think that we have to end the program here, but I just want to thank you a lot. It was
my best regards to good Canadian people, and I am very thankful for them that they became a second homeland for Azerbaijanians living there.